So how we use this audio controller? So basically we use this audio controller manually. So when you start your scene, if you go here to the audio controller, we have a method. We have a basically, before we talk about methods, audio controller here is a singleton. So we have implemented here a singleton for this audio controller in order to have one instance among all the scenes. So as you can see here, we define the audio sources. So we have audio source for one shot, audio source for background, or source for foreground audio. Here we type the option for the audio debug audio controller, which is basically false, so you can turn it on if you want. Here we have the audio file name, the audio files, the audio clips, and you can see here we have in a start we just set up the audio controller. So once we set up the audio controller, you can see here we have a method that's going to set up the audio controller. So you can see all the methods here are well documented, and you can see the different options that you got here. So set up audio controller is a method, and inside this method we're just going to add the audio sources, and we're just going to check the array values. And after that I just want to play the on awake here, play the first audio source here on awake to true, and after that just gonna turn off the other audio sources because I'm not using them right now. And here you can debug, make a simple debug statement in order to check the audio source. So yeah, what about the audio sources? We have the first method here called add audio sources. So in this method we have to add audio sources by going to assign a reference by getting the component for each of the audio source. We just gonna add a new component to the audio source by going here to one shot audio, which is basically here. So we're just gonna add a component by getting the game object, current game object, add component for audio source. So here we're just gonna add this audio source component, and after this we just gonna continue with check array values. So here we're just gonna check if the audio files dot length not equal to the audio file dot names. We're just gonna display an error here. So you have to type the name of every audio files inside the array here. So we have, if we have two audio sources, we should have also two file names, as you saw in the previous video. Alright, so this is the basic setup. We have other methods. If you want to, for example, we have this is other thing here. We have this as property, and we just set one instance. So instead of creating one method, we just created here a single instance used anywhere but this scene, inside this scene. So get the instance, this should never be used anywhere but this scene. So we mean by that we got only one instance of the audio controller. So every time we load the scene, we implement a singleton inside the awake method, and here we just got only this instance. So this is another way to have a single instance. So here you can see if this current instance equal to null, we have to find the object of type AudioController, and we just gonna tell Unity to not to destroy the current object by saying don't destroy and load, and after that we're just gonna return the instance. So every time we're just gonna get this instance here. Alright, we have other methods here. You can set volume to layer, and you can also unboss audio source. You can boss all audio source, all audios inside the game. Here we have another mute all layers and unmute all layers, and we have select layer and mute. So you got different options here inside the audio source controller, but most of the time here we're just going to use a method here in order to for example, here we have a method called play audio once. So in this method we used it to play like the mouse click when you have a specific sounds inside the game. When you click on a button or something like that, we just gonna call this method play audio once. So here we give a audio clip. We just give it audio level, which is basically the volume from 0 to 1, so the maximum volume is 1. Here we also give it the layer name. So the layer name, if you remember, we got 3 layers. We got the one-shot layer, the background, and foreground layer. So you have to pass here the layer name because we want to use that layer in order to play the audio source. So once we go to this method and call this method, just gonna call the audio manager. Inside audio manager, we have to give it the audio clip, which is the clip sound, the MP3 or whatever sound you have. Here we give it false because we don't want to loop this audio. We're just gonna play it for once, so that's why we give it false. Here we give the audio level, which is a percentage from 0 to 1, and after that we give it the layer name. So basically here, since we're playing this audio source or play audio once, we're just gonna call the one-shot layer. So here inside the audio manager, which is a method, here we just pass the previous arguments, and here we check if the layer name is equal to one-shot. We're just gonna play the audio source using this audio source or this layer. So here we're just gonna say one shot the clip is equal to this audio clip, and we're just gonna play it, and we're just gonna also assign the volume, which is equal to this, so which is a value, as we said, from 0 to 1. Also here we are passing the loop option. So if you want to loop the music for the audio source, you can set true or false, but here we're just gonna pass it false here. So this is not gonna loop, so we're just gonna play this for once. Here we're just gonna debug the audio and for the given layer, and that's it. So if you have any other if you want to play audio, for example, to the background layer or for the foreground layer, you just you can call this method here, play audio. So this is a generic method. If you want to just play an audio file in a certain layer, so just give it this. You need to give the string name for the audio file. We'll give it boolean, and also give it the audio level, its layer name, and after that we just we check if the name of the given string here is matched with any of the audio files. We're just gonna play the selected audio file by getting its index here inside the for loop. So here we're looping across all the files, and we check if the name is equal to this name. We're just gonna play the selected audio file with the selected layer and with the selected level, and if there's a loop, we're just gonna pass that loop there. So yeah, this is pretty much how you could use this public void audio in order to play audio inside of your game. So yeah, that is the thing, guys. So where do we use this audio controller? So basically, if you go in the previous script that we have a script here inside our game, which is related to the Soomla. So inside Soomla, we have something called Soomla initializer. So inside Soomla initializer, if you go here, when we initialize Soomla and we started with a project, we have a method here called onStore initialize. So we're just gonna call this method. So once we initialize the store, we're just gonna call this AudioController.instance.play background audio. So once we call this method, alright, instead of play background audio, we're just gonna call this method inside the audio controller. So if you go here and search for that method, just come here, Control F, or click here, search, find. You can see we got this method here inside the audio controller. So this method, we're just gonna play the audio controller. So we're gonna play the audio controller based on the current music track that we have. So if the music balance, we have something called music balance, and for the track 1, because we have only one track in the game, so if the user purchased or buy or equipped the music track 1 from the store, we're just gonna increment the balance of this music track. So we're just gonna get the balance and check if the balance is bigger than 0, and if this music item is equipped, virtual good is equipped. If we just check here, if store inventory is virtual good is equipped for this music track ID, we're just gonna play the audio file of 1, and this is another track, the second track. If not, else we're just gonna play the normal audio source. So we're just gonna check this this track if it's equipped or not. So if it's equipped, we're just gonna play it. If not, we're just gonna play the other audio file name, as you can see here, which is the default audio file and number 0. So notice here we're playing this audio source on the background. Here we're playing that in the background layer, and here also we playing that in the background layer. But inside other inside the other, for example, when you click on the button, we're just gonna play using audio once. So play audio once method. So these are the two methods that we're using here. The first method is play audio, which is the method that we have inside the audio controller. This is a generic method, and we have also play audio once. We're just gonna call the one shot the one shot layer. So here you can see we just call the play audio, and we just call the selected layer. So here when you call the background, we're just gonna come here to the audio manager, and we're just gonna call we're just gonna call if the layer name is background, we're just gonna play the sound on the background layer. Alright, and that's it. This is pretty much how you manage the multi-layers inside the audio controller. And it's really a great way to manage your audio in different layers inside the game. So here, if you go play if you go to the main scene, for example, and click play, alright, notice when we let me just alright, so once we play the game, you can see here, if you go to the console, if you go to the console and just go to the generic object and untick play in awake or tick in play awake, we play this audio source from that line. So we play the audio source from here, Soomla initializer. We just call this method. So if you go here and comment this method, let me just go here and click save. So if you click play right now, so you're not gonna hear any music because we didn't play the audio file. So this is very important, and that's why how we initialize the audio source of the game. So we check if the music is equipped, we're just gonna play the equipped music. If not, we're just gonna play the default music at index of 0 of the audio sources. Yeah, we have another usage for example, if you go here inside our game, we have if we go to other scene here, let's go to, for example, to the game scene. So if you go to the game scene, we have, for example, a button here, and this button is associated with action element. So in this action element, we're just gonna call method here, which is known as game handler win coin. So we're just gonna call this method, and this method is inside. If you go to the main panel here, let me just check where's that method. It's here. It's inside the game handler. So we have something called game handler here. So game handler got a method called win coins. So when you click here, you're just gonna win coin, And inside that method, inside this script, we added 3 sounds: the positive sound when you win the coin, the negative sound when you lose a coin, and the other one, I'm sorry, it's not sound, it's a level text. So just here, the text here. So once you win a new coin, just gonna play this audio file. So how we achieved that? Basically, we used a single shot layer. So here, if you go and here inside the script, once we win coins or win a coin, we're just gonna call the audio source, AudioController, the instance, the play audio once. We use that method. Play audio once, we just give it the audio file or audio source that we have, which is positive audio we have here. If you look at the script, we have audio positive sound, and we have negative sound. So we have to play this sound once we win a coin, for example, here. So audio source, the instance, to play audio once, and we just give it a positive sound. We just give the level, which is 099, and here we give the layer, which is one shot layer. And after that, we're just gonna talk about this later on in the next section when we talk about how to manage the inventories in the same. But I just gonna give you this in order to just give you a hint how you could manage the audio source with this single instance of AudioController. So in any scene of your game, you have to add this AudioController to your scene in order to manage the audio files. So even if you don't have an existing audio source, we're just gonna add a new one inside the script. So that's why here, even if this background audio is not assigned, as we saw when we initialized the AudioController, we're just gonna add it manually from the code. So that's why we have here a method inside AudioController. Once you go here, inside the setup, here we have to call add audio sources. So even if you don't have any audio source in the game, we can add them manually from the script, from the code. Here, add audio source. So can you have more than one audio source for a single element? Like here in general, we have an audio source here. If you come here and try add audio source, so you could have more than one audio source, and that's okay. So there's no problem at all. You could have more than one audio source here. Alright, this is pretty much, guys, about this lesson. I hope you like it, and this is all the story about how to manage AudioController, how to play different files and the different layers that we have here. So you could disable this AudioController if you don't want to work with it, and you can come here to General and just enable this on Awake too. But in case you want to manage the volume, you want to manage the current audio source, you want to pause the audio, you want to resume the audio manager or the controller, here's the best option that you could use. So yeah, this is pretty much, guys, a quick introduction to AudioController. If you have any question, I'm here to help you in the forums. So thank you guys again for watching. See you in the next lesson.